hello, hello. Hey, hoodies. Hey, somebody said, let's
Yeah.
fucking go. You damn right, Lou. Let's fucking
Yes.
go. Hi, Colin. I see you guys. Y'all come on in the room. Everybody. Oh, okay. We got up close to 600 people already up here. Okay,
Rocking.
we're going to go. Yeah. Yeah, about 600 already up here. So, welcome to the Hood Conservative Podcast, y'all. LFG.
I'm
Okay, I don't know what that is, but anyway, I guess that's less fucking
Let's
get it.
go.
You
Yep.
know, that's what I would get. Shit, you know me, you know. So anyway, that's why my podcast comes with the parental advisory explicit content for those that might not just speak all the proper language, but every now and then like to throw in a couple of extra words. Okay.
Right.
So anyway, hello to my guests. Hello, how y'all doing? You know, let me say this. I'm in
good.
South Florida and it is about probably about 80 or 90 degrees here. So y'all
That
can
shit ain't
tell
right.
a little about yourself and from where you from, starting with Travian, my co-host. Hey Travian.
Hello, hoodies. Hello, guests. My name is Trevian Cutie. Currently, I am at a country radio seminar, the biggest in the country. All of the big names are here. Luke Bryan, Parker McCullum, Vince, you name it. Everybody. I just saw Ringo Starr and a Beatle was here. So anybody you could ever want to meet, they are here right now. But I just want to say hello because you can Google me and find out more. I'm going to be cutting off today shortly because I do have a seminar in which I have to speak at. So, but I definitely wanted to come in and say hello to everyone.
You, Travian. Also, y'all, everybody on the show, please retweet the show. And please, everybody that's listening, please follow all of my guests. You got Travian. Sophia, go ahead.
Oh my goodness, what you gonna be talking about, Trevion?
Just tell a little about yourself.
I'm just here.
So,
I'm telling you, I'm all curious. I'm like country music. I'm like, what?
what country
But
music?
it's always a privilege when Laverne invites you to the table. And my internet is trip in today, but I'm here because anything that'll work to try to stop us from doing what we gotta do, it's gonna happen. But me, I just run my mouth, basically. I look to keep people just awake with regarding how sneaky these Democrats are. That's how I roll, and that's how it's been.
Letitia, go ahead. And then I'll go with my guest today. Also, Jerome, our guest for today. Go ahead,
Hey,
Letitia.
hey everybody, this is Leticia Perkins, and I have a podcast on Rumble called The Perkins Report. And what I like to talk about is being a minority and how the Democrats always try to steer us one way when they haven't done a damn thing for us in the past and they haven't done anything currently.
Okay,
Word.
Jerome.
Hey,
Hey, thank
Jerome.
you. Hey, ladies, what's up? Trey down there with the country music girl.
Yes, of
Hello,
course.
hello. Hey, hoodies. Hey, my first time up in here, Jerome Bell. I'm the host of the Radical Republicans live show every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Travion has been a guest on there many times, but former congressional candidate in 2020, 2022. Me and Laverne ran together on the same year, 2020, for the first time. Ran again in 2022. The Uniparty spent $7 million to beat me, so I said, "Hey, I'm just gonna run my podcast and talk about all them motherfuckers." So here we are. We talk about Democrats, and we just keep it live and real. My show is unedited, uncensored, unfiltered, unscripted, unapologetic, just like Laverne's show is here. Hey, and I'm here looking for a good time. I'm here with all these beautiful ladies. I'm just, ecstatic about that. But thank you for having me, Laverne. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jerome. Yeah, I gotta read this comment, right? Some I guess as Charlie said, they're worried about Elon Musk getting access to their negative $3.75.
That's facts. That's facts.
Those
Because
are
that's what they're.
facts, man.
Yes.
Those
That's
are facts.
exactly how much they
And you know what? This the thing, right? See, I just want to break this. Hey, Benji.
Hey, Benji.
What's
Benji,
up,
now you know
Benji?
you were supposed to be out here on the show.
Yes, Benji.
I got all the ladies, man. I'm good. I'm good.
Oh my God. Let me tell y'all this. Okay, right now it's like over 1,000 people on the show, and I was gonna wait. But man, when I read this right here, this really pissed me off on like a whole new level, right? A pissed off and pistification. Okay. That's just how pissed off. That's just how damn pissed off I am, right? Because now y'all already know about 25 years ago, I founded my nonprofit organization, right? And we provide food for like over 5,000 families a month. So anytime you're working with people like that in your community, you get to know the other organizations and everybody else that's out here doing the same thing that you do. And most of them that I know and have known since back in the day, they struggling. A lot of them are still struggling to make ends meet, to be able to get food to give out to people, because people in the neighborhood are still going through. A lot of people are still struggling, especially when we're talking about the homeless, veterans, the senior population. But then we come to find out that somebody got a nonprofit that they just started with $100. And what did Stacey Abrams do? She paid for us.
Ooh.
Just play it, G. I just play it. I want them to see how much money Stacey, how much in funding she gave this new organization. Can you play that clip for me, G?
The Department of Government Efficiency, they actually found out that Stacey Abrams received $2 billion. And for what, you might ask? I don't know either. Stacey Abrams, scam uncovered, found $2 billion of taxpayer dollars designated to her nonprofit, which is called Power Forward Communities, which has close ties to Stacey Abrams. Power Forward Communities was only a few months old with just $100 in the bank account when it received $2 billion. This was in 2024. $2 billion grant in 2024. $2 billion. So you mean to tell me I could take in $100 and put it in the bank account and say I got a nonprofit in $2 billion? I mean, how do I sign up for that? When people are hurting, this is a total scam. This should have never happened. And then it says on their website, they listed partnerships with 2 other nonprofits, both founded by, guess who? Stacey Abrams. Both of them founded by Stacey Abrams. All of them founded by Stacey Abrams. Well, maybe one is not, but 2 of them were. And they received $2 billion, taxpayer dollars. This is huge news. All of this information is coming out. And it's no wonder why all of these Democrats are so upset about all of this getting exposed. Hey, you like these videos? You like the reporting? Please like, follow, and subscribe.
Yep.
I know that's Will.
Damn.
Let me tell you something.
Billion.
That is so unbelievable, because I know the struggle. You could take 3,000 or 4,000 small organizations and put them together, and they still combined won't even have no $2 billion.
Ever. Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
part of
that
that
was
money
I
laundering
think that
thing.
was Stacey's payoff, because the
Right.
fact, let's clear the record. I do not like Stacey Abrams. However, Stacey Abrams won her first election. She was cheated out of the first election and she never got over it. So they ran her as a candidate again. So, and who was Secretary of State before they became governor? Brian Kemp. So she lost to Brian. I mean, she beat Brian Kemp the first election. She lost the second election, hands down. But that was her thank you for making that pathway that she did. Because if you look at it, the Democrats put a lot of money behind Stacey Abrams. And for Brian Kemp to be Secretary of State, running against her, who controls the elections? The Secretary of State. So he rigged his own election, and Brian Kemp is the reason why Georgia Democrats can win at will. Brian Kemp is the grandfather of stolen elections, which is why Georgia is in the state that it's in right now.
Boom.
I'm embarrassed to be a part of the Gap band with her.
I mean, that shit, the gap. I mean, I agree with you, Trey, because 2.3 billion is what 100. And like my boy said, I want to know where you sign up for that at.
Right.
But it's part of the whole money laundering thing, and that 2.3 billion is something that they just park to the side. They're parking a lot of money to the side, and you find out that all these damn Democrats are involved in it, and we're gonna find out that there was some Republicans involved in it too. Here coming up real shortly. The
Yes.
ones that's jumping ship. I mean, Mitch McConnell, all of a sudden, hey, I'm retiring. He came up with "I'm retiring today," so
Yep.
there's a lot of people going to be jumping ship on this, and that's why they are freaking out because this money is getting found. I mean, $4.7 trillion that you can't account for, that's bullshit. Y'all know exactly where the money is. You know exactly who got it. I mean, we sending all this money overseas for Social Security, and I mean, what is it? 21 million dead people, right? 21 million dead people getting Social Security checks. On the list for getting Social Security. So a lot of people getting paid, and a lot of that money is getting found, and these people are going to hopefully, with Cash on the job now, we get him in today. He's going to be confirmed, and hopefully they're going to make these people, held accountable because I think Gitmo is open for a reason right now.
And
And what about the people that
accountability?
what about the people that was between the age of 200 to 229 that's been still drawing Social Security though?
Yes, exactly. And we don't even.
A lot of people don't realize that when it comes to these nonprofits, that money, you see, a lot of people want to see them go to jail. I would love to see them all go to jail. But a lot of what happens with these nonprofits, they're non-bid contracts. And when you have non-bid contracts, it's at their discretion as to who they choose. So unless that money is going to touch Stacey, she's just going to skate by again. The only thing that's going to take them down is going to be public embarrassment. But how are we going to get that accomplished when the mainstream media isn't even touching it? They're not even putting a microscope on it. But a lot of people think that it's going to be, criminal charges. They got it established that way so that they could bring in their friends who are consultants, the friends that, help with mental health. And then it be somebody, cousin, little brother, sister, boyfriend, husband. And it's all legal, although it's corrupt. That's just how that it rolls downhill like that. So Cash is going to be able to put it out there and embarrass them. But we need to be able to get loud. Like Laverne, it's going to have to be you and everybody else that's loud that's going to have to keep their feet to the fire because they're not going to say nothing in the mainstream. They're not going to embarrass them. But if they can go to jail, cool. But the thing that they're going to say is, we didn't do anything illegal. We didn't do anything illegal. I didn't get any money. And they can't get away with that either. No way.
Well, I do want to thank President Trump and the Trump administration for putting on the Black History Month event today, which I was invited. But I'm just going to be honest. In that room, no power moves are going to be made. You just got a room of a bunch of Negroes. That was
right. Exactly
that I defined. But I do want to thank the Trump administration nonetheless.
It was a good gesture.
You know what? It was a good gesture. But I've been to a few of those events in the past, and what I will say, it's just a bunch of Black people just happy to be in the White House. Absolutely no conversation outside of the people who speak from the podium, and nothing gets done. So you've got Boosie, you've got Kodak, who I love, you've got Rod West. Boosie's trying to get a pardon. And as bad as he talked about Trump during the election, that should be a no-go. But that's who you have in the White House right now. I'm sure Dom Luker is probably going to report from that, but that's the last thing I ever want to do at the White House, be in a room full of Negroes getting charity of being in the White House and not sitting down at the table. However, I am grateful to the Trump administration for throwing that event.
I'll second that motion, because the first thing that's important is being able to sit down at the table. Because if you ain't sitting at the table, baby, you cannot eat.
It's a standing room.
So you need to be at the table when it's going down.
They don't even have chairs. It's standing room only. I promise you. I've been there a couple
I
times.
saw it. You're right, Ms. Dawn. We
room
tweeted
only.
it on Twitter, on X, and you can see it was standing room only.
Room only. So I'll be looking for the next event where we can all go and sit at the table and have a conversation about progress and our community. But for me, I think I'm at this point where I'm not concerned about the Black community as much as I'm concerned about America. And Black people can play or they can sit out. And that's where I am in this situation. I think we all need to get on one accord because you're not just a Black American.
We are Americans.
We are.
We are Americans at the end of the day. Somebody wrote and I'm gonna put it on down here that they said that they was concerned about Kristi Noem because CO2 pipeline companies that want to take away farmland away from citizens through eminent domain. Oh, there it is. Through eminent domain.
Well, that's why I think on one of the shows I had advised for everyone who owns a home and everyone who owns land to revise their contract in your eminent domain clause. You need to create that clause for it to say that you will own that property forevermore into the universe and beyond. That is the only thing. Because come 2030, they're trying to take everybody's land and everybody's property, not just farmland. Yeah. So you have to change your eminent domain clause in your home agreement. It has to say throughout the universe and beyond, because if it doesn't say that, you'll be one of the victims come 2030. Kristi Noem, she was my least favorite pick. I'm just going to be honest. Kristi Noem was my least favorite pick.
Yeah, that's just what I was about to say. When she folded, with the NCAA, that was one of the things that,
exactly.
I didn't see her having any, excuse the expression, balls anyway, because she folded to the NCAA about women's sports. How can you be a woman and not, and want men to participate against women, and then you fold against the organization, like that, and then of course Trump comes in, boom, and get the job done, or whatever the case is. But you show weakness, and and I didn't think she was a good pick. I'm not the president; he can pick when he wants. But I'm with you, Trey. I think that was the worst pick, and I definitely didn't agree with that pick. So I'm
well,
not.
You got to
remember.
You got to remember, she was one of the few governors that didn't fold during COVID. So I was rooting for her for VP. I mean, I'm glad Vance is in. He's just as good. But I would have liked to see a woman VP, and I would have wanted it to be her because she wasn't playing in her state. She didn't lock up nothing. She let, people go to work. Everybody else was locking up their kids, and they couldn't go to church. And that was bullshit. That was like slavery all over again. And the only one with the guts and the nuts to do something about it was Kristi Noem and DeSantis. So I was rooting for her.
I was
glad that.
Excuse me, because DeSantis was not going to that shit right there at all.
Yeah, just him and Chrissy were the only ones about the.
If you gonna shoot a fucking Yorkie, at least don't write a book about the shit.
Everybody is on her about that, but damn, there's governors worse than that. I mean, that is minute. That is minor. Who gives a shit about that?
I used to have a Yorkie. Okay, I take that shit.
Hey, the Yorkie was eating the chickens. Right?
It was attacking her grandkids, I believe. That's what I believe.
Was it the grandkids?
Yeah,
okay,
she said it was attacking one of the 2-year-olds. Shit, I would shoot a Yorkie too. Get the fuck away from the babies. They gotta come up with something. They gotta come up with something else not to like her, because I don't give a damn about that Yorkie. You gonna bite one of my grandkids? I'm shooting your ass.
I'm a dog lover, but
I love dogs.
If you got your dogs and you got your kids and your dogs don't like the babies or whatever, then separate them. Them.
I don't know. She couldn't, she couldn't foresee that coming, that the dog was just going to go crazy and start biting the kid. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I think she was a very good pick. Like I said, she did good during COVID. If it wasn't for her, her state would have been locked up like every other state. No church. People wouldn't be able to gather, for parties and weddings. It's some straight bullshit. She didn't fire nobody who didn't want to get the COVID shot. So I like her. I like her and DeSantis. They were the only ones that spoke up during COVID.
I think Cuomo, he was in New York. That's why he gone. That's why they forced him into resigning, because they were hoping that he was going to pull that role and try to.
Mayor.
He's trying to, yeah.
I know he is.
I was
going to
say that, yeah.
But that's the thing. He knows what's up. He knows what's up. Like when they went after him and he said it's all political, I was like, that's what your ass get. That's what your ass get, because you wouldn't fold but you was running all up and down Trump. But he was not trying to do it either, because if New York would, remember, they gave him the Oscar and everything else. If he would have rolled and mandated everything, that would have been a domino effect for a lot of states. But he wasn't trying to hear that. I think it's the Italian. I don't think it ain't got nothing to do with being a party person. He just not trying to, be tyrannical. But he was one of the only, and I don't like Cuomo. I mean, I don't. But when he said it was political, I'm not surprised how they rolled up on Adams or how they rolled up on Santos. Like, they roll up on whoever they need to roll up on when they don't get their way. But definitely, you had to stand on your 10, and he couldn't even do it for real, else they'd have been walked them out with something more serious than, touching some ass. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, Christy, I'm with you on that. Like, but the dog, man, I was like, oh, you can't kill the dog. You got to separate them.
That was probably just her gut reaction to get the dog away from the kid. I mean, I think she's an animal lover. Everybody's staying on her for that. But we got to look at all these years that she's been in politics and actually has been running the state really good.
Okay, y'all, we got another video coming up. Go ahead, G.
We're living in the craziest times of how the fuck could you vote for a Democrat? These are the same people that charged Donald Trump 34 to 36 times for falsifying business records. Meanwhile, the banks came out, got paid, said there's no victims, there was nothing done wrong, and they still charged him anyway. So when he goes in and he audits the fucking government, and then he shows you that trillions of our fucking dollars has been sent to people who should never be getting money from us. When he shows you that the United States government funded fucking COVID, and then they've been funding the national media to lie to us, to give us this information. They attacked us during fucking COVID. If you fucking forgot, and he's exposing all this shit in front of you, how they're fucking stealing from us and fucking killing us, and they're outside crying because he's exposing that they're fucking stealing from us and fucking killing us. They are criminals. All of them need to go to fuck the prison forever. Every last one of them. Everybody there now need to go to fuck the prison. We're living in the craziest times of how.
All true. All facts.
Oh man, that was so fire right there. That was so fire right there. It never ceased to amaze me. The people that are so upset with Trump. Trump only been in office since fucking January. They tried to blame everything.
A month today. It's a month.
One fucking month. Bitch, y'all ain't saying nothing when Biden was doing all his shit. I would try not to cuss today. I really was. But
I'm gonna pop out because it's gonna get really noisy in here.
Okay.
So I will.
Thanks for stopping in.
Week Thursday, Jerome.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you.
Appreciate
all of you, Laverne. I'll talk to you soon. And
okay. Have fun, girl.
Now. A lot of good things coming out. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. So let me say, I want to give a shout out to a special guest that I met last week, Matthew. I want to say hello. He just texted me and told me he was watching the show, so I want to say hello to him. But everybody act like this is some rocket science shit. That they just found out eggs was at an all-time high, or the grocery foods are at an all-time high. This has been going on since Biden was in office. Trump been in for like a little over a month, but now everything is his fault. Come on.
Well, they're gonna say that anyway. In regards to the video that you watched, and the only thing I can say that is, conspiracy theorists are still undefeated. We've been saying that shit for years. We've been saying we've been getting fucked with food. We've been getting poisoned with the water, with the fluoride. We've been getting, money stolen. Even when Donald Rumsfeld talked about, well, we're missing $2.3 trillion. Then the next day, the fucking World Trade Centers get, destroyed, get demolished, and blown up and shit. So it's been happening, but we've been saying it, and all of us that's been saying it really is getting vindicated right now. We're getting vindicated. And I mean, even with the COVID shots, hey, I'm a pure blood. I didn't take that shit. I wasn't taking that shit. I was telling people don't take that shit, but people that did, hey, you're on your own on that, right? So, what that guy said, hey, it was all facts, all 100% facts. And people are starting to wake up to it, and I'm glad that more of us are starting to wake up to it because, Fauci was going through fucking DC trying to jab people. He's walking, going door to door. I have to go take your jab. I remember in one video that brother's like, nah, man, Now we're not doing that shit. Get your ass out of the neighborhood, pretty much, But our people need to wake up, because I mean, we've been getting tested on for forever, right? And so, but I'm just glad that a lot of us are waking up now to the fact, but still not enough. I mean, still 80% of what black people, at least black men for sure, vote still vote Democrat. Why the hell do you guys still vote Democrat? You see we're getting fucked. I mean, with this TDS, you come up with this stuff. It's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. They're trying to blame all the plane crashes on Trump. That's just some psycho
I
nonsense,
know.
right? That's just some psycho fucking nonsense right there. You are a fucking psycho if you want to blame these plane crashes on a man that's been back in office for 1 month. If you think egg prices supposed to be down and he's only been in office for 1 month of gas prices, you have no fucking clue how one, economics work. You have no two how second how anything fucking works, really, economics at all, money, trade. You have no clue, what exactly happens and how it goes down. So, to all you people spouting that bullshit, eggs supposed to be down, all these Democrat talking points, y'all just need to sit down, shut the fuck up, get out the way, and let Doge do their thing, find all this money, find out, that we've been getting fucked on Social Security, that there's no shortage of Social Security. They've been stealing Social Security. We've been saying that shit for decades, and I'm trying to find out how I don't have to pay no taxes no more because I'm tired of my money going to this bullshit.
Yes.
I see somebody mention the USAID, and nobody said shit about all of those billions and billions of dollars they were spending. Like, we talked about that 5 million to these countries to do drag queen shows and all kind of shit.
I know.
Nobody had a damn thing to say about that. Now all of a sudden,
52 million for circumcision. You still got me
How
tripping
about
off of
that?
that.
How
That shit
about
still
that?
have me tripping. I was going over that on my show the other night on Sunday night, and I'm like, all right, you paying Mozambique for these dudes to come in and get circumcised, to help prevent STD. Well, we got dirty dicks over here. If that's the case, why don't you put 45 million here in the United States? We're gonna send that shit to
Right.
Mozambique. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean, we got shit that we could do with that money. And I'm going down this list of all of this stuff. I'm like, man, this shit is outrageous. That's why I'm like, hey, I'm gonna tax revolt 2025 probably for the rest of my life. I ain't paying no more taxes because I don't want to be paying for a dude over in Mozambique to get his skin cut off his dick. So, that's just the way I feel about it. And everything else down that whole list, it was unbelievable. I mean, I think it was like what 27. I have the list. Don't quote me on these numbers, but we're paying Asia, to fucking be smarter. We got money in there going for that. They're already the smartest motherfuckers on earth. Why are we paying money to go over there? We got kids in the United States can't read on grade level, can't do math on grade level.
Absolutely.
And we're not spending that money here in our own communities trying to get them on damn Khan Academy or some shit.
And I'm gonna sum that up. We got a whole bunch of dumb motherfuckers over here that they can invest their fucking money in since they want to help motherfuckers that can't read. Let's get real. You got kids in high school can't fucking read, cannot even spell cat. What about them? Why they can't put that money into our education system to help these kids learn and stuff here? Since they just want to help people that, it's a whole lot of them over here around here where I'm at. I see them every day. They got like zero damn understanding. And always, if you trying to hold like a conversation with them, they want you to sit there and repeat yourself and say the same damn thing over again and over again. And I refuse to do that. If I'm talking to you and you don't know what the fuck I said, then I'm gonna make you repeat back to me what did I just say to you. Because I'm not just gonna stand there and be redundant and say the same shit over and over and over again. So that's money. That's since they had how many million? They could have put them 50 millions on in this community. Okay.
That's right.
Exactly. Facts.
And the animal testing. Remember the transgender rats? They were giving money for experiments for transgender rats. I said, what in the what is a transgender rat? All that money, we got homeless vets in every state laying on the floor begging for food, can't get their surgeries, can't get their pills, can't get any type of help for their PTSD, and we're spending millions on a rat to be transgender? Oh, Lord.
I'm still thinking about the fact that You know, Laverne's out here trying to feed people. You know what I'm saying? People out here gotta eat. We gotta eat. And all that money could have went toward helping organizations like Curly's House. That's one
And
of the things
other
I find the most
organizations, right?
heartbreaking.
Right. While they trying to over here teach a damn rat how the fuck to be a fucking transgender. I mean, that's got to be like the dumbest shit ever. You know, it's like every time
Mhm.
you say, okay, I'm not going to use any profanity, I'm not going to use any bad words, and then you hear some shit like that that just set you off on a whole nother level. I know, Jerome, you know what I'm talking about, because that
Oh,
shit there
absolutely.
is ridiculous.
That shit facts. You know, and Charlie's what he say 500 plus black men die of homicide. You know, those are facts. You know, and and they spend billions. You know, got these NGOs. We talking about these kids being trafficked across the border. We talking about all these billions of dollars that these NGOs are getting to help these illegals come into our country, and it affects the black community
Yes.
worse. All these illegals affect the black community worse because they're committing actually competing for the same thing that we're competing for. You know, the health care, you know, the
But,
schools, jobs, everything. You know,
but
and you know, for black people to co-sign on this bullshit, that's one of the things that piss me off with our people. We always co-signing on this white liberal racist bullshit and things that affect
Yes.
our communities the worst instead of helping our communities, instead of going for you know, vote for things and vote for the policies that actually help our black communities. But we got too many black
Yes.
people want to listen to fat ass head Al Sharpton and fat ass head Roland Martin and Plies and all these stupid motherfuckers, Democrats that's getting kickbacks 500 Al Sharpton
Yes.
$500,000 from Kamala Harris to get an interview, and Roland Martin 350,000. And I mean, so all of these people that you know that have these bully pulpits or whatever that these black people listen to, you know, are nothing but freaking gatekeepers. Okay, for one, the gatekeepers, they're not concerned about the plight of the black people or these black communities. As long as their pockets stay fat, they're going to continue to say what they need to do just to keep getting the money. And that's the same thing with Stacey Abrams and all these black politicians too that claim they care for black people.
And that's the truth.
You
And
notice
then
how they
what you
got
do?
Sharpton rolling up on Poku?
Hold up a minute. So
Mhm.
then what they do when their constituents come to them that need help and say, "Hey, I need your help," you know what they tell them? I would love to help you, but we just don't have the funds available right now to be
Yeah.
able to do this. No, motherfuckers, y'all don't have the funds available because y'all around here spending $47 billion to teach rats how to become transgender, and more money than they in African countries, say India, trying to get them to trans their men. Also, I'm talking about 200, $300 million for
Yeah.
all of that. They don't even care. They don't even care what the price tag is when it comes to transgendering anything, right? But then when it comes to the black community, oh, everybody's a racist. The Republicans are so racist. They're also, especially Maxine Water. That motherfucker,
Yeah.
I call her Maxine Muffet Baby. You know what I'm saying? Every word that come out her mouth is race related. It's just race
Yes.
related. And people like us, because we are independent thinkers, then what do they call us? White supremacists. I've been black all
Yep.
my motherfucking life. And all of a sudden I have motherfuckers calling me talking about Laverne. You are a white supremacist. And you know what I told them? Bitch, do you have 2020? Because last time I looked in the mirror, I was fucking black. So when the fuck did
You
I
know,
become a white supremacist and a racist and a member of the KKK party? You know, we are members of the KKK party, according to the Democrats, because we do not buy into their bullshit that they are
Yes.
pushing onto the black community. And they need to stop lying. They know where the funds are, they know where the dollars are allocated at. But if they don't like you, guess what? They ain't gonna give you shit because they do not like your ass. That's why. And they don't give a fuck
And
about
they're
you
gonna
what you
blame
do in
us.
your community to help people. They don't care about that. Go ahead, G, and
They
run
want to
that.
blame Trump.
They want to blame Trump
Yep.
for
right.
everything.
You all
And he
right?
just got in
Are
the
you
seat.
okay? Oh, I'm feeling better than ever.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right.
Are you a racist?
Am I what?
What are you think of these people now? Why? Why you stay
You said,
here?
are you racist? Am I racist?
Yeah.
No, I'm not a racist. Why do you ask that?
Well,
Why is it that people who stand up for America and who want to protect our own borders, why are we always trying to be backed up with the racist thing? I'm standing here with a black man. If I was a racist, this is my brother right here. If I'm standing with him, how can I be a racist?
Are you a racist?
No.
So why would you ask him is he a racist?
Well, let me see.
Why would you ask that question?
Why
I'd
you
like to know
stay
why
here?
You asking him because he's white and you want to get away with this racist remark. Are you a racist?
No.
So why is it that he a racist because he's standing up
Do you
for the
like
country?
the Latin people? Do you like
Do
them?
you like them? No. Do you like them?
Yeah, I
Do you like
Latin
America?
people.
Do you like America?
Yeah.
Then what's the problem? You should be out here picking it with us.
Yeah.
That's a dumb question to ask. You're asking that question so you can use it on your program to make him look like a racist. Why don't you ask me, am I racist? Because I'm black, right? I love America too, and I think these illegal aliens need to be shipped back to their country. So why is that racist? You're a racist for asking him that question.
Thank you, Jesse.
And you're only doing it because he's white, and that's what you're going to show on your report tonight. You shouldn't play that kind of game. That's a dumb question.
Shame on you.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yes.
You're in America taking advantage of all the benefits that America has to offer, and your only comment, are you a racist? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Are you here legally?
You all right?
Go ahead, Jerome.
She said, "Yeah."
Yeah, that was like, I have plenty Latino friends, right? And legal Latino friends, and 100% of them are on board with these illegals getting the hell out of the country, right? Especially the legal ones that came over and did it the right way. I mean, that's why you find these Cubans, down in Miami, they voted for President Trump like 95%. 95% in Miami, because the Latino population is here and they've done it legally. They don't want these people coming in, jumping in front of the line, getting the shit that they had to wait for, and we definitely don't want them coming over here, jumping in line, getting the shit that we paid into, like Social Security, and coming in and getting the health care, coming and getting the schools, all the taxes and shit that we pay, and they come in and get the benefit of it. No, hell no. Hell no, you can't do that. And I'm definitely on board with Trump with his 14th Amendment, ending that baby anchor bullshit, citizenship. Look, because bottom line is this, okay, the 14th Amendment was for black people, for newly freed black slaves from the 13th Amendment. That's what the 14th Amendment was for. So we can have citizenship here, as far as our ADOS, so they can have citizenship here. So then the 15th Amendment was giving the citizens the right to vote. That wasn't for people to come over here and drop off damn babies and get citizenship. That's not what that shit is for. So I'm applauding President Trump that he's trying to stop this shit. And then we got these activist judges that's trying to stop. And then you got these, again, black people. Hey, dude, he's pointing out and he's made it clear that the 14th Amendment was for freed black slaves, newly freed black men and women. And you guys are fighting that? You guys are against that? When he's actually giving you back your fucking 14th Amendment right, because it was for us. The 13th and 14th and 15th Amendment were black rights, period. That's what they used to call them, black rights, because that's what they were for. We got these ignorant ass black people, fighting against that. And of course, the white racist liberals are going to fight against it, So, I definitely commend him for that. And I'm on board with all these Latinos, legal Latinos, and citizens that came up and did it the right way. Get these illegals out of here. They got to go back to their home country, because we don't need any more, slackers and people freeloading on the American people. Because guess what? They're stealing our damn money anyway.
They got a lot of Chinese too. A lot of people don't like to talk about that. They got straight up buildings, like tenement buildings in New York, where they have a gangs and gangs of people from China chilling, doing the same thing. They've been doing it for years. They're only drawing attention to everybody that's brown. But they got hella Chinese up in here doing all that same illegal stuff, been doing it for years, and just, they capitalizing off of it. The same way, they just keep it in the family, whereas all the brown people, the Mexican people are coming over, and it's the people up in them nice houses talking about they need to get their grass cut. How we gonna get our coffee? How we gonna get our vegetation? They're the only ones that's capitalizing off, but the Chinese they've been ruling New York for the longest time and coming through illegally. They need to get them too. Get them all.
To kind of piggyback on something that Jerome said, when the thing with the illegals, right? They was putting them up in hotels, luxury hotels,
Yep.
and they gave them so many services, like 15,000 a month. But I haven't seen any seniors here that they gave, that $15,000 a month to. I haven't seen any seniors that have worked and paid their way that they put up free for months in luxury hotels, and including our veterans. Did they put them up in luxury hotels? Did they give them $15 and $15,000 in subsidies a month? But they gave this to people that never worked a day in this country, never paid any taxes or anything. And a lot of them didn't even appreciate that because they was complaining about that. So yes, get the hell on back to your country. If you came over here and you want to complain, you need to get the hell on back to your country.
Bye.
That's all. Period. Point blank.
And a lot of veterans got kicked out for them people too. The veterans that was staying in, they weren't definitely staying in 5-star places, but they were staying in some of the hotels. But then they got kicked out. They got kicked out in order to bring them in because these NGOs and these hotels, they were getting more money. They were getting more money for the government to house these people, than they were housing a veteran. And as long as we got veterans on the street, I don't give a fuck about nobody else. I spent 27 years, serving this country. I'm always going to be veteran first. And as long as we got homeless veterans and veterans on the street, the next motherfucker who try to come in here, I don't give a fuck about you. I want my veterans to be housed. I want them off the street. And I want them taken care of. And our seniors in this country, people of this country, citizens of this country, we have black people, in these neighborhoods that, are basically living shit in hotels. Some, a lot of them are homeless, and but we're going to take in and co-sign on bringing these illegals into our neighborhoods and before our citizens, we having, like in Chicago and these places like Boston, where they close down these little centers where the kids go and play, these recreation centers to house these motherfuckers.
Schools
and now
too.
These kids don't have nowhere to play. You know what I'm saying? What makes that right in any American citizen's mind? You had all these countries. I've been all over the world. I've been on every continent and damn near in every major city and state, right? And these countries put their people first. What in anybody's mind in this country where we should put anybody else over Americans? America first should be the mantra, in everybody's mind. We always should go Americans first, right? But then, like say, we see these people, oh, America first. That's not. See, that's just no. That's not. That's nationalism. And if I'm a black nationalist, okay, I'm a black man in America that served this country, and this nation comes first. I want this nation to be first before any other nation. America first, and that makes me a Nazi. That makes me some fucking white supremacist or some shit. Nah, man, y'all gonna get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. It is gonna be America first. And while we're on the topic of money, now I've never been a big reparations person, let's just say, right? Because I never, the CRT and all that shit, I think that diminishes the ability and give black kids excuses of why they can't do stuff. I got 3 boys. I have a doctor, he's an MD, my son's an HVAC tech, and I got a son that's a musical theater performer, right? And they never had any excuses of why they couldn't do anything, right? So why, do we give these kids excuses of why they can't be, right? So I never been, give me my 40 acres and a tractor. Yeah, I want that shit. That's what Lincoln promised us. He, of course, it was mule or whatever. But now, I'm seeing all this money wasted. I'm seeing all this money, going to these different countries for all this bullshit. Yeah, I want reparations now for ADOS. I'm an ADOS. I want my shit, I want reparations now because you paying all this money to these people. You're giving these Mexicans billions of dollars over here, and you give Native Americans billions of dollars a year, for everything else. I mean, and you pay it to Japanese. You're giving $760 million a month to Afghanistan. You're giving Israel $3-4 billion a year. Now all this other shit that we're finding out. Yeah, I want my shit. I want my shit now. I want all my shit that my people suffered for. You know, and I'm not a, you know, and I tell you, I'm not a reparations guy, but right now, yeah, I am. I want our shit.
It's a shock that they haven't done it. For real though, but it's a shock for most people. But Democrats ain't trying to hear that. They're not trying to hear. They haven't been trying to hear that since the Civil War. They done killed Lincoln, trying to keep people from being able to come up. Got rid of the Sherman Order and everything. They're not trying to hear that. But for real, that's just that gripe. That's why they allowed the immigrants to come in. That's a big part of it, because if they let everybody else come in, how could they, reasonably appear to be racist? I do so much for the children in Africa, but in the meantime, they're like, yeah, them African kids, not you, not you. We will never, I don't believe that they will ever go for it. Democrats, not Republicans. I don't believe that they'll ever go for it, because that one thing that they've always wanted to have, their supremacy, those Democrats, those Confederates, their supremacy, that's going to end if they lift Black people up out of what they've been putting on that yoke on them forever. So I would love to see it. I would love to see it. But as long as we got Democrats and they voting for them, cutting their nose spite the face, we got to wait and see. But it's a disgrace that so much money could have just easily went back into the people that were here and built the country. They could have easily done that, but they're not trying to hear that. And that's what I like to expose. I like to expose the fact that they're on the sneak tip, trying to bring in whoever they can from Africa and from everywhere else to use as a cover, so that they can continue to oppress and keep the foundation of Black Americans out of the picture. They let a couple in. They let a couple in to get loud on their team, but they're not trying to hear it. So I would love to see it. I hope that y'all get super loud. The people that are advocating get super loud, because it's time to do it, because we know they got the money. Now what?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Obviously.
No doubt about it. Before we was already the funds, we don't have anything available. But with all our taxpayer funds that they have been wasting, trillions, billions of dollars, we know that the money is there, and they need to put that money back into our communities and help the people.
Yeah.
I would like to say a special fuck you to that last one that left that comment that said every one of us is a white supremacist. So far as I'm concerned,
that's some dumb shit.
Hell. And
let me
the
respond.
crazy part is, why is it that people that always want to leave these comments don't never have their face on the on the little icon thing? They always have some kind of picture or something, but they want to talk shit. They want to throw rocks. But, I guess the big bitch in them always make them want to hide their hand, So if you ain't man or woman enough to put your picture on your damn icon, don't come on here talking no shit on my show. Now back to the show.
And that's
about black skin
that.
don't make you black, bitch. You probably don't even have no damn black skin, so shut the fuck up.
I've been reading those stupid ass comments up in there from this cat, and just or whoever the fuck it is. I don't know. It might be some white liberal or something, trying to
black
like black or something, or a black liberal. A black liberal. But here's the deal. All right, let's talk about white supremacy for a second, right? Since I've been called a white supremacist too, Laverne, the Washington Post called me a white supremacist, because I actually, want good schools for my kids. I think they can do just as good as job, and they're as smart as every white kid. My son proved that. He's a doctor and shit. So, but here's the thing, white supremacists, right? And for all you motherfuckers out there that actually believe in white supremacists and shit, right? If you believe in white supremacy, you have to believe in black inferiority, okay? Yes. Because you can't have one without the other. You cannot have one without the other. You cannot think that someone is superior or practicing a superiority over a person that's not inferior. So I don't think black people are inferior. So I don't buy into this white supremacy shit, because I don't believe in that black people are inferior to white people. Only you motherfuckers that believe in white supremacy are the ones that actually feel that black people are inferior. So if you pumping out white supremacy shit, then you are probably feel that black people are inferior. So you can take that bullshit and go the fuck on too. And I saw you say, what's a black job? Here's what a black job is, my man, or lady, or whatever the fuck you is anything that goes on in the black community. That's a black job. you got black communities full of black people. So whatever jobs that black people do in those black communities, whether it's a doctor, whether it's a dentist, whether it's a street sweeper, whatever the fuck they do, okay, that's a black job. Okay, it's anything that a black person does in a black community or a white community, that's a black job. So I know you're trying to throw that shade out there because Trump said black jobs. Yeah, he's right. Black jobs are getting stolen in our black communities from these illegals and from these Chinese and anybody that has a business inside a black community that's
Yes.
stealing away from the black people having businesses in there. Okay, yeah, they're stealing black jobs because they are in our community. You dumb son of a bitch. So I hate these, people that just throw this bullshit out there, and don't even understand what they're saying. Don't even understand what that shit mean. Okay, a black job is any job that a black person do anywhere, wherever the fuck they at,
And that's just
especially
a
in our
dumb
black
ass
community.
question. And anyway, if you would like to come on the show, just drop your your email and you could come on in the room. How about that, Mr. Grilly Knock or whatever the fuck you call yourself? If you would like to come on up here on this stage, drop your email and we will send you the link so you could come on in our room and you don't have to put that little bullshit you putting over there. Come on in the room. Come on the stage.
And
We
tell
love
me
My
again,
special
brother
Sam,
guests.
just said up here that white supremacy and that telling you that people are inferior, DEI. Who came up with that? Not Republicans. You know what I'm saying? We got to help somebody. We got to give them a chance. We got to lift them up to where we are, even though their legs are shorter. That DEI stuff, that's them. You want to look for your white supremacists, you need to go check your Democrats, okay? Because they're
That's where they at.
only ones that are out there that's saying that we ain't got it. We know we got it. You know what I'm saying? We know we got it. We know the economics is why we ain't got it. We know that we ain't got it because you're shutting down our schools because you're saying, we just ain't got that money. Check your Democrats with their DEI. That's why it's gone now. Now what? Now we're going to be, and mind you, that DEI was bringing in mad people into Harvard. Now they got all these knuckleheads running around with degrees and they ain't shit. Now what? That's what they want to try to make it seem to represent us.
Wait. You got a lot of fake degrees too. You got a
Yes.
lot of them.
Yep.
And
if they
and if you notice, and no, go ahead, girl. Go ahead,
No, I was just gonna say if these black Democrats want to help, I mean, they could be putting the money into the black community and stop
Well,
pointing
why
the
would
finger
they
at.
do that?
They
They
need to
did
stop.
that shit in 100, 200 years. Why
Yeah, they
would
want to
they
blame.
start
They
now?
want to
Oh,
blame
you know how
Trump.
they play the game.
Yeah, they want to blame Trump. Oh, this area
They
is
want to
messed up.
blame Trump
You're
and the Republicans, but
yeah,
what the
and
fuck do they do for the
yeah,
community?
and they're the
What do
mayors.
they
They're the
do,
city. They're
Mr.
the city.
fucking Grilly Act? What do they do?
Yeah,
Why don't you tell us? Come on in this room.
right.
Come on up.
No,
Hi, Nara. How you doing, Nara? Welcome, y'all. We have over close to 3,000 people on this show. You guys are welcome. Drop your comments. Let me know where you are from. And welcome to the Laverne Spicer Hood Conservative Show. And we are rolling. Now, this is the thing. They like to play the race card. Hey, don't just drop your comment, Mr. Grilly Nat. Where your email is. You could come on up on this stage. Listen.
They won't.
The door is open. Come on in the room. We got this the welcoming committee.
Look at it too.
This the welcoming committee. So go ahead, Jerome.
If you look at these black, what I call gatekeepers, right? And these black gatekeepers, I call them, Stevens from Damn to Django, these type motherfuckers. The ones that keep spitting this shit, the DEI and the ones that keep, saying that black people, look at who they are, right? Look at their platforms. Look at how much money they got. Look at who they're putting up there and look at who's writing their paychecks. Most of these people got money. Most of these people have shows. Most of these people are well off to do, right? They're not struggling, but they want to keep putting the plight of the black people in front because, racism sells, this victimization sells, right? But they're not even struggling, right? They're not even struggling. Be like, okay, so how did you get where you at? Why don't you put out there, okay, Roland Martin, how do you have your show? How do you have your millions if the country is so racist? How did you get where you are, Roland? How did Kamala Harris get to where she's at if this country is so racist, right? So all these black people that you see, and then you have these white race baiters like the MSNBC crowd, and that claim they like black people. All these people are millionaires. All of them.
Yes.
How did they become millionaires if this country is so racist? And if we need DEI, how did you get your job? Did you get your job by DEI, Roland Martin? Did you get your job, Tavis Smiley? Well, actually not Tavis, but Ricky Smiley. You know, you out there, you know,
Ricky.
wearing your dresses. How'd you get where you are? You know,
Miss
because
Bernice
you probably
Jenkins.
busted your ass, right? You know, so you know, Bakari Sellers. How'd you get on CNN? Freaking Bakari Sellers, if it's so racist, you know, white man writing your check, Bakari, how'd you get on there? You know, so it just kills me that these people. So when these people start talking and stuff, look at who they are, look at their jobs, and look at the positions that they're in, and 100% of the time you find out that they're probably doing pretty good, and it wasn't because of DEI, but they push that shit because they get paid to do it.
Unless you Don Lemon. He got fired with a text message.
Yeah, facts. Oh man, this cat. All right, whatever.
Nothing never ceased to amaze me. And for me, you know, I've always sit back and kind of analyze things, Jerome, and in regards to what you were saying, right? So even when I would see them, like, you know, when you watching these documentaries and things and you see them walking together and they're singing "We Shall Overcome." And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck y'all get ready to overcome? What the fuck is y'all talking about? Y'all staying in America, one of the richest countries, right? You just said it. Most of them are staying in fucking mansions, okay, with millions of fucking dollars. What you talking about? We shall overcome, right? They living their best life. Listen, they taking care of many generations of their family members. Their grandkids are not going to have to worry about their damn lights being cut off when they turn 18. They ain't going to have to worry about that. You know why? Because Grandma Maxine Waters already made sure that their college and everything else that they need is taken care of.
Yes.
You know, she's staying in a mansion. She taking care of her daughter. What she was paying her daughter last time for her campaign, like $200,000 or $300,000, right?
Exactly.
So what the fuck
Isn't
they talking
Sheila
about? We shall
Jackson? Didn't her
overcome.
daughter get the job?
What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody there struggling. They making sure that their daughters and sons have great jobs, you know, great jobs that are paying all benefits so they don't have to struggle. They ain't worried about shit, but they want the rest of us to have that mentality, you know, that we need to depend on the government and depend on them. So that's what they want us to think, and that we need the government in order to survive. That's what they did with the projects when they had those people depending on the government so that the government could control every aspect of their life. Okay? So it's time for people to start thinking on their own and come out of that box mentality. Because, you know, in the end of the day, when I'm out there in the streets with my people, with my community, nobody gives a fuck that I'm a black woman. They don't say, oh, that's a black woman, I don't want no food from her. You know, nobody says that. They want that damn food, so they gonna come and get it. They don't give a shit if I'm a fucking Republican. You know, because somebody did ask me that question. They was like, oh, do they know you're a Republican? I said, do you think they give a fuck if I'm a Republican?
Exactly.
They're here to get food. They're not going to say, damn, I ain't got no food in my refrigerator and my cabinets are empty, but I be damn if I'm going to bring any food home from a Republican. You know, nobody says that. Nobody. They come, they get that food, they're happy. Okay? So it's what we are being fed from the mainstream media that want to keep us separated and divided, and they play that race card to do it. They play that race card to do that. So it's time as we as people, you know, stop going for the okie doke and stop believing the hype that we are being fed And that's part of the problem, especially with the senior community, because they sit there all day. They gonna watch those channels all day, and then when they get through watching the news, they scared to get their ass outside because they don't sit there and watch all that killing, murdering, and everything else that they are showing now. But we got to stop that division. We got to stop that division, and we got to work together as people to make this world a better place for everybody. Because, like somebody said, it's all about us we are all Americans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Max, hey, do you mind if I play a video real quick? That
go
there's some
ahead.
of these people that we're talking about. Here you go. Let me see if I can pop it in on your show like I do mine and shit. Hold on, let's see. Oh shit, it won't let me on your show. That's all right. It's all good. But it basically it was what Booker T. Washington said. We have these people out here that don't want the victim to get well. So they just keep throwing out the stuff, because it's profitable, for them. And most of them are just race baiters, and it's just so funny because all of them are getting paid by a white dude, probably some white Jewish guy or something. All of them are getting paid, and so they can't talk about them. They want to keep pushing the race bait. So but that's what they do, and like I said, we need to get past that. People need to stop following these people. I don't even understand why people are still following Al Sharpton. I mean, he hadn't done anything for the black community. These people are
besides gave them that $25 gift card and took it to Target.
Yeah, exactly. And they didn't even buy anything on them, right? So all this bullshit, like you got this bishop, right? Calling a boycott for Target or whatever, right? First of all, probably nobody in his congregation at what is New Birth Church. I don't know if you guys saw that video, but nobody in his congregation probably even shop at Target. One, he said, and also sell all your stock. They probably don't even own no stock in Target, dude. So you're just trying to make this big racist statement, to prevent Target because Target stopped doing the DEI shit. Yeah, they stopped doing it because they was losing money. It ain't have nothing to do with black people, not shopping at their stores because most of your constituency probably don't even shop at Target. So all of this is for play. And they keep doing this stupid shit, right? Why don't you talk some good stuff? Why don't you talk about, hey, let's put some trades in these black schools, and in these black neighborhoods for these black boys that can't do math, but can work with their hands, can learn trades and be able to take care of themselves and their families if they have families one day, so they can get off the street so they don't have to do drugs. Why don't you guys talk about some stuff like that, that's going to uplift these black boys and these black girls in these communities, that might not like school. School's not for everybody. I get that, right? Because the teachers, a lot of teachers are shit, and they don't know how to teach. They don't know how to communicate with these kids. But a lot of these kids are good with their hands. So teach them plumbing, teach them, masonry, teach them these skills. Like my son's an HVAC guy, technician, and so I mean, and it feels good. This guy's going out, he's making $35, $40 an hour, on jobs. He's doing side jobs. He's taking care of himself. He wasn't the best student in school, but guess what? He getting paid because he knows how to use his hands, and he's smart. A lot of these kids are smart. But they can't reach him the way that they teach them, and everybody's not math. If you don't want to be a scientist and you're going to be a doctor like my other son, right? Math might not be for you, but you can go into these skill trades and learn how to take care of yourself, and that's what we need to understand, need to do in these communities as well.
Savants don't rock with school. That's what it is. They're too intelligent for the limit that they put on them. That's why we have to support school choice, because school choice is making things open up where the public schools, they know, but can you imagine if the ones that are the smartest are the ones that challenge the teachers, and then they call them a problem student. You know what I'm saying? They sit there and they tell them that, they're distracted. They need ADHD medication. So they're catching and finding out.
They do not need that medication.
They don't.
It's just that some kids are how can I put it? They are so creative. Some of them have a very creative mindset, and the traditional classroom just don't do it for them. It just does not do it for them. But back to that race card. Also, one thing with our community, for all of the blacks, right, that always want to talk about white people and racism, are always the ones that's married to a white person.
All
Don Lemon
of them.
married to a
All of them.
white person. All of it. Mama Beetlejuice in Chicago married to a white woman. All of them. What was her name? Lori. I call her
Lori.
Lightfoot.
Yeah, Lori
Lightfoot.
Lightfoot.
Yeah, I call her
Right.
So, you know, all of them are married to white people, but they want other black people to feel like all white people are against them, and that's not true.
Yeah.
That is simply not true. So it takes people like us to stop that stupidity and break the monotony on ignorance. That's what it's going to take. Because actually, it's people like us, especially the ones, and I always give a shout out to everybody that ran for Congress in 2020. We was like a total new breath to politics. And a lot of us, you know, we came out of the blue. People didn't know anything about us, but they got to know us fine.
Right.
But we shedded light on, you know, a new way of thinking and a new way of seeing things, you know, because so many of us, we had already ate the cake. You know, we believe what the Democrats was telling us. We believe that the Democrats had the best, you know, that wanted the best for us in our life. We believe that until we started to have a change of mindset and take a closer look at what exactly was taking place. Then we began to see things in a different light. But we could also share with others things that we saw in a different light. So, you know, all of us helped to make that difference when it came to politics, as well as the fact that they arrested Trump 40 times. He got those 40 charges. That in itself caught the black man's attention.
Got
So
his
they was
attention.
like, okay, why they throwing these charges on this man? What's really going on?
Shout out to Derek Gibson.
Oh, that's what.
That was a
Yeah.
huge
Facts
wave.
in New York. Yeah. I mean, there was a bunch of us, man. You talk about, you know, Laverne, myself. You had Kim Klacik. You had,
Yeah,
you had Darius
Rhonda.
up in New York. You know,
Rhonda.
yeah. I mean, it was Rhonda. You had so many of us that came on the scene in 2020, and we shared light that, hey, you know what?
Yes.
We there are a lot of black Republicans out here that you guys need to understand that, hey, you know, we have the ear of the people, you know, and when you talk about racism and things like that, right? When I ran in 2022, with 2020, I raised 500 something thousand. In 2022 was 660,000, and that was nationwide. And most of my donors were white. Most of my donors were white, you know, because they understood that, hey, we're not Republicans, we're conservatives. And truth be known, black people helped start the Republican Party with the radical Republicans. Hence, that's why I call my show that, you know, with the Freedmen's Bureau right after slavery. Okay. We're the reason that the Republican Party exists. We have always been conservative. Okay. We've always had to be conservative. And so when we talk about conservatism, we black people are naturally conservatives. Yeah, we got, you know, ramrodding, we got fooled by the Democrat Party here in the 60s, you know, when they took over and LBJ screwed us with the welfare and became, you know, a lot of black women sugar daddy, you know, and a lot of black women haven't broken that chain yet, you know. But when we talk about being conservatives, black people have always been conservative until 1968. It's when and they voted conservative until 1968 when they started voting for the Democrat Party. And if you look at the demise, if you look at even during the Depression, black people did better than white people did during the Depression because we've always had our own. We've always had to take care of our own. You know, we had our Black Wall Streets and we had all these different things until they taxed us out of those positions, you know, because that's what happened. We got taxed out. We got triple taxed out, right? You know, the wage thing, right? You know, the minimum wage, that wasn't for black people. That was to bring up white people out of poverty after the Depression. So we've always done good until 1968. 1968, when they started doing the welfare thing and kicking black fathers out of home in the destruction of the nuclear family. That's when black people start doing bad. You can look back in the 20s. You can look at the Harlem Renaissance. You can look back, New York. You can look at how black people dressed. You can look at the cities and the neighborhoods in California. We've always done well. We've never had to have CRT. We've never had to have affirmative action. We never had to have all this bullshit to make our kids think that they were less than, right? So why do we need that now? And that's the part of it, is the Democrat Party and the Communist Party USA that's taken over the Democrat Party. They're all fucking communists. They're all communists. You look at them, they're freaking communists, and they want to, and that's what they do. They use the racism. They use all this stuff to keep us divided so the majority of the black people will think, hey, the Democrat Party, is the party of black people, is the party for poor people. You guys have always been the party of oppression. You've always been a party of slavery. You've always been a party of Jim Crow. And if you look at what they actually do, they fucking still are. They still are. Now black people are waking up, so they're bringing in the illegals because what? They don't have nobody to pick the cotton anymore. They don't have nobody to pick the cotton, and that's what they say. Who's gonna pick our? You saw all these people. Well, who's gonna pick our vegetables if they're illegals? That's the same shit. Who's gonna pick our fucking cotton? You need slaves, right? You've always been a fucking party of slavery, and you show it every single day. And I don't know why these black people won't wake the fuck up and understand that shit.
They don't want to think for themselves and do the research, like you said. They won't take the time to think for themselves. They want to blame the white man all the time, talking about they're keeping us down. Ain't nobody stopping you with the shotgun to go, not to go fill out an application. Nobody's stopping you from enrolling in college. Ain't nobody stopping you from going to the fucking library and picking up a fucking book
Stopping you from
and
getting your
learning
black
how to do shit.
ass out the bed to carry your motherfucking
Exactly.
ass to work.
Exactly.
Nobody's stopping your ass from doing that shit neither.
Exactly, but they want to point the finger at Trump. He's so racist and he stops us. I don't see that motherfucker in the hood stopping you from doing a motherfucking thing. Talk to your Democrats. Talk to your Democrats. They need to talk to the Democrats who are the city council, the mayor, and the fucking governor.
Yes.
They want to point the finger. They want to point the finger at the fucking Republicans. This is your fucking area. You are the mayor. You get your black ass out there and start building some fucking programs for these minorities. Oh, Trump is so racist. He's so racist. What the fuck he had in the hood? Saying black people don't go to college. Black people don't go educate yourself. Black people don't go to the library. It's the blacks in power in these black fucking neighborhoods keeping the black people down. I can say that. I'm from the projects and I've seen it all these fucking years. It's the blacks pointing the finger at the white people. The Republicans don't want you to get a job. Well, where the fuck are they at with their shotgun stopping me from filling out an application?
Don't give a fuck if they get a job.
It's the blacks keeping the blacks down.
Them. You got to be responsible for yourself.
Exactly.
And another thing they do not do is hold them elected officials accountable. Yeah. They do not.
Yes.
They treat them like they fucking celebrities.
Yep. Look at Maxine Waters. Yep. Look at Maxine Waters. Yep.
Fuck
she's been. Yep.
That house about to get taken, motherfucker. Go talk to them about that shit.
Yep. Look at Karen Bass. Look at Karen Bass. Look at Maxine Waters. They're not helping anybody black. All they're doing is building. Yeah, all these people, especially in California, they're just making sure that the illegals are safe and it's a sanctuary city. Karen Bass ain't doing shit for one person black. Maxine Waters ain't did shit this whole motherfucking time. My grandma's grandma was alive when she was alive and told me the same shit. None of these people have ever done anything for anybody black, and they want to point the finger at a white Republican saying that they're keeping black people down. The white Republican isn't in charge of this fucking area code and the zip code. It's the black Democrat keeping the fucking money and not building any programs in these hoods. That's what it is. It's the hoods keeping the hoods down. That's all it is.
Exactly.
People don't do the research.
Look at those neighborhoods, right? When you look at those neighborhoods that we're speaking about, you go to Baltimore, you go to Cleveland, where I'm from. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, from the hood in Cleveland. And who's running the city? You got black mayors, you got black fucking police chiefs, you got black principals in all these schools, you got black city council, you got black. So you have ain't nothing but black people running your city. So how can you blame somebody white when it's nothing but black people running your damn city?
Basically,
that's the. I'm like, how can you do that? How can you? Trump. Okay, that he's so fucking high up and removed, really out of the thick of things. You gotta look at your local because all
Exactly.
politics are local. You have to look at
Yep.
your local politicians, your local officials, your local school board. Your whole damn school board is black.
Yep.
And we got black kids in
Yeah.
these neighborhoods and these cities that in these communities that can't read and write. What the fuck are
Yep.
they doing? Where's all this money going, right? But you're gonna blame somebody white, and ain't nobody white on your city council, on your school
Exactly.
board, your police chiefs, your
Yep.
mayor, your fucking. I mean, I'm
Yep.
like, you guys are fucking ignorant as hell. You're
They're
stupid.
robots. They don't think they're fucking robots. They're looking at the media
Right.
saying, you're oppressed. Well, who the fuck is telling me that? The congressman that's black that holds all the fucking money
Right.
and the key to the city? Sit the
Yeah.
fuck down.
You notice they didn't check Steve Harvey on that shit neither? Trump didn't even know what the hell he was doing, and he invited Steve Harvey to come and help him out, and they was railing on Steve Harvey. I was like, look, y'all brought the wrong Negro in because he's not about to trade his bag to free nobody. But Trump tried. He
But let
did
me
try.
tell Trump isn't stupid. A lot of people they look at some of his moves, but let me tell you, he's a very calculated person. So he
Yes.
let him make a fool of his motherfucking self. And like you said, he wasn't about to trade that bag. So Trump is very, like I said, he's calculated. He knows who he invites. They check everybody before they get an invitation. So that just made people of color see like, this motherfucker's over here just working for the money. The money. You're not speaking up for blacks. You're not doing anything for blacks. There was
Nothing.
an agenda behind that. It wasn't, oh, Trump, slipped through the cracks and invited him. No, that motherfucker looked stupid himself being there. We all know that you're a fucking sellout. You haven't out one black person in your motherfucking life. Got problems with your kids. Saying you sold them to Diddy. Come on now. Shut the fuck up. Come on.
It's a
That's so
Diddy
funny.
party, baby.
Come on. Come the fuck on. People need to
He
do
waiting
their
on
Diddy
Oprah
party.
next. He waiting on Oprah next. That's going to be one of the biggest ones. Like, I remember when she left Chicago. I was like, how the hell you going to leave and abandon who's lifted you up into where you've been?
Right.
She just bounced. And I'm just like, and people still, the whole thing about just glorifying the people in the few is because it got you looking up a crab, looking up at the other crab's butt, thinking that you're going to get pulled out. And it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. And that's the heartbreaking part about it, is because we even had our own, pseudo own, when Omarosa's ass was in there. And what did she do but embarrass herself and embarrass, everything else that a Republican would have stood for. But then you find out that Biden is giving her an honor for Black History Month. It's all those gatekeepers. Every single gatekeeper that has been out there that has been maintaining this same bullshit over Sharpton. They inviting Sharpton up to your place, Jerome. They got him sitting with Hochul because Hochul knows she gonna open her mouth, say some shit, piss some black people off. So she done called her PR strategist in to find out how she gonna pull this off and not be looking at like a tyrant. She straight tyrant gonna remove a mayor when you got elections that allow you to do that. How you figure? How you figure that black people and people of color can't figure it out for themselves? She just gonna come in and just talk about she gonna remove people. I knew a lot of people that stood behind Eric. I saw a lot of people, the same stuff that he's accused of. Who the hell he know in Turkey? Come on now. For him to be doing some stuff, who the hell he know in Turkey? But they gonna just sit there and act like it's just it. You know what I'm saying? I
People
can't.
fall for
But
it.
that's
They
just
don't
what
do
it
the
is.
research. Yep.
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 Yeah, that's the bottom line. No, they're just mad right now because Eric's like, whatever I got to do, I'm down with Trump. Yep, come get these illegals.
Yep.
Because they're already, pretty much slapped him in the head when he was going to D.C. to meet and and talk about the illegal problem. And he had to turn his ass right around and come back because that's when they slapped him with this, federal, charge or whatever the case is dealing with Turkey because he was talking about the illegals. We can't sustain it. So, he was walking off the plantation, and when you're on the plantation and your ass get ready to walk off, they gonna get you. They gonna try to get you, And so, you mentioned Hochul. Yeah, Hochul backtracked on that shit now because Al Sharpton went in there. He's like, I don't know how that's gonna play out. I don't know how that. If you remove this black man, right? You white lady, you remove this black man, just because of whatever you're trying to say, because he's getting no. You might need to leave that alone. She's backtracking on that, right now. And
but they're lifting up Jermaine. Jermaine, the public advocate. They're looking at that's who they lifting up now. They're gonna just know, just usher in the next guy. You know what I'm saying? And Jermaine has been loud. And he's a socialist, straight up socialist. So I'm like, what are you trying to sell communism and socialism to the black
that's
people?
what they want. They want commie. Yeah, well, that's what it is. You know, and that's what it is. I'm gonna do a special, you know, on my show, you know, here next month in March. I'm gonna do probably a couple weeks, and it's called Communism and Negroes. Communism and Negroes. And so, I mean, because the communists in this country have used Negroes for really for their agenda, you know, and a lot of it started with, you know, with Dr. Martin Luther King. You know, before he died, he just said, "Hey, I feel like I've led my people into a burning building," because he actually started to realize it. You know, the Communist Party USA, you know, they hijacked the civil rights movement for the agenda, and that's what it is. A lot of these people are communists. They don't even know they're communists, right? But they don't even understand that they're being used by the Communist Party to keep pushing this agenda because it's a communist agenda.
Is that we gave him? Well, we gave them, I believe, $350 billion, but let's say it's something less than that, but it's a lot. And we have to equalize with Europe because Europe has given us given a very much smaller percentage than that. I think Europe has given 100 billion and we've given, let's say, 300 plus. And it's more important for them than it is for us. We have an ocean in between and they don't. But where is all the money that's been given? Where is it going? And nobody, I've never seen an accounting of it. We give hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't see any accounting. So I want to see peace. Look, you know why I want? Because I don't want all these people killed anymore. I'm looking at people that we gave him. Well, we gave them, I believe, $350 billion, but let's say it's something less than that, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
More than that. Yeah, more than that, you know.
Bad-mouthing Trump, not a good idea for Zelensky. What's the thought process here?
Well, look, I mean, President Zelensky, his country wouldn't exist without the generosity of the United States of America. So say thank you. And if you disagree with the president, pick up the phone and call him or call one of our great diplomats. Don't go on a media tour around Europe bad-mouthing the president of the United States. It's insulting. It's insulting to him. It's insulting to me. It's insulting to the American people. And by the way, it's stupid. All of us who know the president would tell you that bad-mouthing him in public is not the way to get President Trump to change his mind. So I think Zelensky needs to have some better consultants.
Word.
You know, and you know, I think Trump, he's leaving him out to dry, which he should. You know, I was never in favor of this fucking Ukraine bullshit anyway. He was a installed puppet because in 2014, you can go back and look at it. You had Lindsey Graham, John McCain, Victoria Nuland, you know, and other senators and congressmen that went over to Ukraine in 2014, and Obama and fucking Hillary Clinton too. You know, they started the illegal coup in 2014 in Ukraine, and that's where the shit all started at. You know, and I mean, we needed Ukraine to, you know, to be our bank, our money launderer, you know, our biolab place or whatever, because things were getting shut down, things were getting found out in China and all, you know, and around the other world, you know. But I mean, Zelensky is an installed, you know, homosexual dude that dances stilettos and tries to play the piano with his Johnson, you know.
And that's probably how he made the cut.
This guy's not
trying to get in that trans movement, you can always make the cut.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he wasn't even that bright. But I think Trump gave him a heads up when he said, look into it.
Right. They just needed him to make the cut, and he did that.
Yep.
That's all they needed. I mean, he's installed, he's controlled, you know, and there's video out there, you know. So President Trump cutting off the funding, I mean, which is what he tried to do the first time anyway, and that's why they impeached him. You know, that's, you just be honest about that. You know, because he was cutting off he was cutting off all this money that we're finding now, you know, that's being laundered through Ukraine and through and through USAID. You know, he was cutting all that then. You know, that was the bottom line. He was cutting off the money source, and now he has people around him that's not scared to go after the deep state, that's not scared to cut off the money source. And now we're getting what we're getting. We're finding out, you know, everything that we're getting. I just hope it be more. I'm waiting on them to release the Epstein list and the Diddy list. I want to see both of those.
Me and you both. because it's gonna be surprises on there. The people on both sides of the aisle is gonna be on that list. Both sides of the aisle.
Both
I'm not
sides,
holding my
both
damn
sides,
breath
right?
though. I swear. Yeah, it should be. It's definitely gonna be both sides. But I'm not holding my breath that that Epstein list is gonna get released. I mean, because literally, and if that list gets released, probably half of our government and half of world governments around the world probably gonna have to quit, or we're gonna definitely need some new leaders in these positions, because a lot of them people are gonna go down. And unfortunately, because they did some horrible shit. But I still want to see the list though. But I'm not gonna
Me
hold my
too.
breath on it.
Elon's been saying that forever, and so has
Yeah.
who else was saying that? When I get in, I'm gonna release a list immediately. I can't
Yeah,
remember who was just confirmed last week, and I'm like, you're in, like
yeah.
you're
They're like,
in. Where the
Yeah.
fuck are you at? You're in. Like, where's the list?
Yeah, they got
You
some
know
task force now supposedly in charge of listening. But like I said on my show, we don't need a fucking task force.
exactly.
Open source it. It's not
really?
top secret, so the president don't have to fucking declassify it. So it's not anything that the public can't see. There's no classification. No, just release this shit open source and get it
Release
over
it.
with. Just release it. We don't need any freaking task force to decide, what government secrets are gonna get released. Just
Yep.
the Epstein list, just put that shit out there. The rest of it, might be some security clearance involved, but not that.
But what do you think's really gonna happen though? Like when they showed us all that proof with Hunter Biden, I mean, yeah, there was people tweeting left and right, but fuck, there was no consequences for him, none whatsoever. So I think it's like a clinical trial. They're just saying like, okay, little by little, we'll have these big high-powered attorneys say so and so and so and so was involved, and let's see if there's any traction. I mean traction in the community, not you're on Twitter like, oh my God, my favorite singer is on there. Because if you honestly think about it, there has been 16 high profile singers and
Yes.
actors that have the list has semi been released. So it's like Elon and everybody else in the Trump administration, are we going to react to what these adults that were 14 and 15 when this happened? Is there going to be any consequences? Because honestly, you can even go on TikTok. There's some pretty big names on that list, and these victims are not just saying something. They have like pictures, they have video and stuff, or their family has video, or they have reports from the doctor, you know what I mean? And it's like some people have DNA. They've got DNA. They've had these people's children that raped them. And it's like nobody is doing anything. You rewind 4 months ago to when they started releasing so and so and so and so and his wife's name, and nobody has on either side of the aisle done anything about it. So I'm thinking, okay, they released the list, and then what? We found out that our favorite, politician is a weirdo. Okay, so is anybody going to go to jail, or we fast forward to 2030 and the same shit is happening, but there's a new list from 2025? I mean, is there going to be any prosecutions, or is just going to be payments over prosecutions? I'm wondering, I'm just
I don't
wondering
know, but
because
one thing I do know, let me say this.
Literally.
First of all, I want to give a shout out because today President Trump is having a huge event at the White House, and it's for Black History Month. And as Travian said, it's just standing room only. And there are a lot of Black people there. And I just want to put that out there for everybody that said that he's so racist and prejudiced and all of this. And he's there with a room full of Black people today. Okay. And also, I want to answer a comment that was over there in this section. And Mr. Grillas, or whatever the fuck he calls himself, said that we didn't answer his question in reference to a link that he
He's been
put
putting up
up.
links the whole time. We
Yeah,
ain't
but
got time
I
for
want
that shit.
to let him know the reason why we didn't answer the question about your link is because we really didn't give a fuck about the link that you put up. That's why we didn't answer. So I just wanted to really like throw that out there and let you know that. Okay.
Facts. Facts. I mean, she gave you an invite. Damn.
Yeah, I did get
You know, you
the
got
invite.
an
Oh,
invite?
she got it right there, y'all. There it is. There it is. I see a lot of Black faces in that room. I can't hear the video, but I can see.
Going to be doing a garden
of American heroes. And now that I think of it, I must tell you, sadly, most of them, I guess all of them are not with us any longer. I was going to put Tiger in the garden, but maybe you don't want to be there. I maybe should wait a little bit, huh? Like about 50. I think I'm going to wait about 50 years, all right? But Tiger's going to make it, okay? But I'm a little afraid to tell him yes, because he'd be the only one that's living. I don't know, Tiger. Tiger's rejecting that offer, right? Under the executive order I signed last month, this new beautiful outdoor statue park. It's going to be a statue park. It's going to be unbelievable. We're picking the final sites now. It's between various states that want it very badly. We'll honor hundreds of our greatest Americans to ever live, including countless Black Americans, icons. The garden will predominantly feature incredible women like Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Billie Holiday, Aretha Franklin, and Coretta Scott King. And I will showcase it will be something very extraordinary. It's going to be we're going to produce some of the most beautiful works of art in the form of a statue from men like Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, Jackie Robinson, what a great athlete that was, Martin Luther King Jr., Muhammad Ali, he was not a bad athlete. What do you think, Muhammad? Not too bad. And the late Kobe Bryant. People love Kobe Bryant. And we're going to save Tiger Woods for another time. That's all that I can. I'm sorry. During Black History Month, we pay tribute to these heroes and to so many others, but not simply because they're Black heroes, but also because they are truly American heroes who inspire all of us, very much so. Right. The theme of this year's celebration is African Americans and labor. And we want to thank all of the Black workers, construction workers, and every other worker. They do a job like nobody can do. And we want to just thank them very much for their contribution. Tim.
There you go. Nice. Facts.
Okay.
That's the racist, though.
Yeah,
that's that racist they talk about, though, right? Joe Biden never did anything like that. And Joe Biden, people talk about Trump. You can go back and look at Joe Biden and his 94 crime bill that he wrote and that he's proud of writing, that destroyed many, many generations of Black families by incarcerating these Black men and women for the same shit that Hunter Biden was on video doing, with all that cocaine on the scale. Now, if that would have been a Black guy, right? That shit that Hunter had, he had crack on his scale. A Black man would have got charged with distribution,
crack,
right?
and life in prison.
Smoking and distribution.
He would have got life
in prison.
They would have went after their kids.
Yep.
And what about when he was on the beach walking naked? And every time he was butt ass naked, he want to do a video, so that's him. He butt ass naked, smoking crack with other crackhead chicks, and making the fucking video.
Yep.
And then they found the cocaine at the White House, but no,
in the White House.
At the White House, and don't nobody
that was
know
Kamala's. That was Kamala's. I heard that was Kamala's. That was Kamala's.
If you in the White House and you pass gas, hold up. If you in the White House and you pass gas, they gonna know when the fuck bust that fire.
Right.
Right. So how in the hell
all around.
They didn't know who cocaine that was?
Exactly. Exactly.
But do y'all notice how Trump is in his element when he around Black people? His whole spirit seemed to change, and you could feel it when he around us. And I'm like, they keep calling this man a racist, but he's down. Like he is in his element when he's with Black people. And you notice how he always corrects it? He identifies, but then he goes back and he says Americans. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone delineates. Everybody should delineate. And everybody recognizes greatness and greatness, but he always brings it back to being American.
Okay, I want to say something real quick, right? Now, this idiot up here, right? And I said, I was going to be nice. Okay, I'm going to be nice this time, okay? Now, this idiot up here that refer to us as a whole bunch of brainwashed Sambos, right? But he said that his wife is Black. So if he calling us Sambos, then what does he call his wife when he gets upset with her? I'm sure he calls her a Sambo too.
Sexy
I hope
chocolate.
she's watching. I hope she's watching
Lord
so she can
Jesus.
see what kind of idiot that she's actually married to.
She's probably a
Now
Democrat,
carry on. Back
so
to
he
the
don't
show.
include her. That's what
Or
it
a
is, right?
liberal. She's or
You
a
know,
liberal.
or liberal, definitely liberal. So whatever this guy is, and I don't know if this person is black, white, or whatever. If this
Well, he
is a
said his
white
wife is
dude,
black.
So he's
They
yeah,
white.
gotta be
right,
lying.
right,
He's
right.
from
So
White Dudes for Kamala.
yeah, exactly. He definitely has to be a white dude. He
White
definitely has to
Dudes
be a
for
white dude.
Kamala.
For sure. One of those. It's funny. So yeah, that's what this dude is. He's a white dude married to a black woman. And now he just told on himself. So he's
And
one
you
of the
just
people.
told on yourself, homie.
He's
So
one
I
of the
hope
people
your
go
wife
around
is watching so
talking
she'll
about
know
Black
what type
Lives
of
Matter.
asshole she's actually married to.
Or he's a
You probably
trans.
call her
Could be a
Sambo every time
trans.
you get
Or he might be a
that's you.
trans.
It
You
could be a
probably call her
trans.
damn Sambo every time you get mad at her, but she doesn't know that. So I hope she's watching so she can
That's
see what
right.
kind of phony motherfucker your ass is.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
And we
it.
already invited your little
Look,
happy ass up, but you don't want to come up. But you want to leave all these dumbass comments.
Oh damn, he from Ohio. You
Oh,
Cleveland.
Yeah,
come
ain't
on,
that a
that,
bitch?
Oh,
I was born and
wow.
raised in
come
Cleveland.
Ain't that a
on.
bitch?
Northridge, Ohio. Okay, yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
He's
Okay, all right, come on,
definitely
man.
white dudes for
Oh yeah,
Harris.
he's from Northridge, Ohio. Yeah, he's a white boy.
Come
Yeah,
on. This is white
yeah,
dudes for Harris. Come
yeah. He
on.
definitely white dudes for Harris for sure.
Tampons in
Wow.
the bathroom.
I ain't lying. Oh my God. Yeah.
That's him right there. That's
Yeah,
a
that's him.
shame.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the Hood Conservative Idiot Award of today. You won,
That's so
Brody.
sad because it's the regular shit. You know what I'm saying? He not posting nothing that is profound. He just, posting that bullshit that everybody else is subscribing to. You know what I'm saying? It's just pathetic. You know what I'm saying? I doubt that he's black. He might be
No, he's
Indian.
not.
Let's, I'm
I
gonna give him a
guarantee
little
he's
bit of
not.
color.
He's white.
I
He's
guarantee
white.
he's not black. That's a white
He's
boy.
white.
That's a white boy.
And he's got
That's
his
a
white
white boy.
dudes for Harris
Hands down.
t-shirt on.
Hands down. Hey, it's good you repping the Cavs though. It's good. It's actually good you repping the Cavaliers. But yeah, he's definitely a white boy for sure. For sure. I can guarantee it. I saw where he lived in Northridge, whatever it was, North Olmsted, whatever it was, Ohio. Yeah, that's a white neighborhood too. It's all white. It probably except his wife. I mean, which is fine. You can live in a white neighborhood, but you talk all that shit. Is that his wife? No, that's not his wife. He wouldn't be having her on there.
Right? That girl
Nah,
doesn't
she ain't rocking. No.
that ain't his wife either.
Right?
Nah, he ain't rocking with nothing like that.
He called her Sambo. She'll give his ass the business. All
Yeah,
of it in
he
one
ain't
time.
rocking like that. No. So
But I guess his
Yeah.
black wife gives him a pass. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the pass. Like he
mean?
feels that he could. Remember, that's what they do. They don't cloak themselves with some kind of black to allow for them to have the audacity to step out of line. That's the same old bullshit they've been pulling. But that's okay. And his wife might not even be Black American. She might be African, might be Caribbean. But for him to feel comfortable saying something like that to people that he has he don't know us. He don't know how we roll. But for him to feel that comfortable, definitely a Democrat, 100%, and definitely not somebody. He's just cloaking himself with his wife, and I hope that she catch him outside and figure that out what she needs to do, because that's some bullshit. Like Sambo, I don't think so. Whatever, go somewhere. Nobody trying to hear that.
Nobody.
Hey, I just want to give a shout out to my peeps over there on Getter because I'm running this live on Getter and X2. Shout out to my people over there on Getter. We got like $12.99 on Getter watching too, Laverne.
Nice.
So you throw those numbers up with it. Yeah. So shout out
we
to my
have
peeps
close
over
to
there on Getter.
I think I see 5,000 views up here. So I want to give
Laverne, you look so cute today. I just want to say you look so cute today.
Conservative view. Hey, hoodie in the house. Hoodie in the house. I want to give a shout out to Joey, Bill, my husband, Arthur Spicer, And everybody else, who else? Shout out to Matt. Shout out to my crew, Felicia, Laverne, the other Laverne, Barry, and everybody. And it was somebody else I wanted to give a shout out to. I forgot. Shit.
Benji gonna come get you if you don't do it.
Who? Girl.
Benji.
I saw Benji already. I
Benji
saw
was
Benji
up there.
You know, I keep inviting Benji on, but I don't know what Benji be doing. But I saw him on there a while ago. I saw him on there a while ago.
I got tears in my eyes.
You say he been black for 56 years.
What?
Your homegirl with the two children that died. What is up with the video with her like popping and locking and twerking? Like, did you see that? I'm gonna have to share it with you. She was on somebody FaceTime having a blast, and they walking all over for her, all over her because she just suffered a tragic loss. And I don't know if you're gonna chop it up today, but I'll send you the link because I think that I want to hear your perspective on that because I'm still heartbroken. You know what I'm saying? I'm still heartbroken.
Who you talking about?
Oh, the homegirl in Detroit. The one in Detroit where her two kids died in the car.
But it's so many of them.
Oh, I seen that. They froze. I seen that on TikTok.
There's so many. I mean, they are all over YouTube. Yeah. I saw Benji. Hey, Benji. Love you all. You know, we already invited this man on, so I'm not going to give him another thought, another chance, because he just want to leave all of these comments that are so silly. Talking about I've been black 56 years. Bitch, I passed 56 years many years ago. But anyway.
Right? Move on from him. He just wants attention. It's probably a white liberal, I'm sure. Just wants attention.
Why he here?
I don't
because he wants attention.
He want to get it out his system. He's giving him the ability to be racist in full, you know what I'm saying, in living color. He could just go ahead. We see you. We've been seeing your type. Go ahead. They use it as an excuse.
A chance to get all the business today. That's what I'm giving him a chance to get.
He won't. They won't. They never do. That's why they have the comments. You done sent them the link. They won't. They just want to take up the showtime. That's it.
They ain't taking up the showtime. But anyway,
that shit.
Back to the show. Okay. I think we getting ready to close out for today. So in closing, I'm gonna start with Sophia. Y'all, please follow my guest and follow Benji too. Follow Benji. He's
Benji,
a conservative, and he's doing a lot in the community. Benji Irby, and follow Matt Wilson, and follow Travian at Free Travian, and follow Sophia and everybody else on the show. Go ahead, Sophia. We close.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's always an honor and a privilege because consistency is the only way that we're gonna break up the monotony. You know what I'm saying? We gotta break up not the monotony, but the monopoly, I meant to say.
Yeah.
We just gotta stay consistent. And what you bring every single week, everything that you do, that consistency, thank you for having me here. Because I tell you, the voices, we got a lot of voices that changed up. Candace is now talking about Frenchmen that dressing as, drag as, president's wives. So thank you, Laverne. I'll say it again and again and again, that thank you for staying consistent and keeping, your foot on the gas, because this is what's real. What's real is breaking up this bullshit that got people thinking they could come up here and flex and call us nigga and, oops, coon, oops, Sambo.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what happened? There we go.
Go ahead, Letitia, because that's probably G trying to put up the video. That's Sophia. Okay.
There was a glitch. Oh, you guys can find me on Rumble, the Perkins Report. I don't know if G still has my Twitter handle that I sent him 2 weeks ago. If not, it's my name, Leticia Victoria Perkins on X, or you can find me on TikTok. There we go. There I am on X.
Nice.
Subscribe to my Rumble channel, the Perkins Report on Rumble.
I gotta find. All right, so I just followed you,
G.
Sophia. So cool. All right,
And
and I'm gonna
Jerome.
get you. I'm gonna get your Perkins report on Rumble. I gotta get that. Hey, thank you, Miss Spicer, for having me, ladies. It's been an honor sharing this platform with y'all today. And to my girl at Free Travion, go and do your little country thing. I know you still listen. Do your little country thing today. But we definitely need to continue to, like I say, be consistent in our messaging to wake up, still wake up as many people as possible, as many Black people as possible that continue to follow this Democrat racist bullshit. You know, you have to get out of this Stockholm syndrome. We have to break that to continue to grow as people. And until we do that, our communities will never grow. If you keep listening to the Al Sharptons of the world, our communities will continue to be behind. And guess what? They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you. They want your votes. They want your money. And that's it. Where's Kamala Harris? Where the hell has she been at after y'all done gave her all that money, gave her all that support to try to be president of this country? We dodged a bullet. We dodged a major bullet in this country with her losing this election. And I pray to God every day that she lost and that we did get Donald Trump back into this office. But we have to definitely continue to, like I say, shout it from the mountaintops and be loud, okay? And that's what I try to do on my show. You know, like I said, the Radical Republican show every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Getter, live on X, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. It's on it's on iHeartRadio. It's all over the place. So, if you guys want to follow me and check out this show on Sundays, come in and we actually really have a good time. I have great guests on and things like that. And I definitely would like to have you ladies on. We're going to have to do a show, bring you ladies on the show. We can chop it up on my
Let me
show
know.
on
Let
Sunday
me
night
know.
too. We get live on there. So, I love what you do, Laverne. I've been following you for a long time, and I'm honored to be here today. And thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Oh, this motherfucker said I sent you an email long on previous shows, liar. Well, motherfucker, if you sent me an email on my long previous shows, that means I invited your ass up on stage and you got motherfucking red. So I know exactly who you are, because my husband cussed your motherfucking ass out. And you just mad because you got a crush on Joey and he don't want your raggedy ass. So I know exactly who the fuck you are. Okay? And Polly, thank you for the love. Thank you. We will keep fighting. Listen, y'all, we want to be the strength for those of you that are afraid to say things. Guess what? We are the ones that will say it for you. You know, I'll say it for you because I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? My love is the God himself. Man, I don't see you when it comes to that other stuff, because let me tell you something. One thing about me, I'm going to speak my mind. And I'm going to say things that need to be said that other people are afraid to say. Because guess what? I don't have a problem with saying it. I really don't. And I don't like dumb shit, bullshit, in between bullshit, and none of that shit. I don't like it. So if I don't like it, I'm going to say something about it. So his little ugly ass changed his little screen thing on X, but I know exactly who it is because I invited him on one of my other shows when we cussed his ass out, because he had that little hot crush thing on Joey. And I know exactly who it is when he mentioned my husband. I know who this bitch is, because my husband came and cussed that little raggedy motherfucker out. So I know who he is. Good. So anyway, y'all, let me tell y'all something. We got to keep fighting, because they want our youth. They want the boys to be girls. They want the girls to be boys. And then if you notice today on X, you got another young and dumb. You know, that's what they would say in the country when I was coming up. They would call them young and dumb motherfucker that wants her baby girl. She wanting to trans the baby girl into a boy. And this a real sick bastard, because the baby isn't even walking. This child, this infant is not even walking yet. Okay. And she wanted to trans the baby into a boy because it's a girl. So this is the stupidity that we are dealing with in this country because people are so caught up on social media and common sense is no longer common. And people just follow the hype. They believe everything that they see on social media is real, and a lot of it is not even fucking real. I mean, today's world we have AI, and a lot of that stuff that's AI generated, you can't even tell if it's real or not. You know? So right, you're right, Polly. That is child abuse. You're right. That is child abuse. And I knew G was gonna find that clip. So that's why I kept talking. But this chick is truly sick. That she is. Play that clip. G.
Oh my gosh, that's a baby.
So here is
It's
my
a baby.
baby.
What the
Her
hell?
name is Bella. Bella was born a boy, but now uses she, her pronoun. I am in the middle
And
of
he
trying to
talks.
get a doctor's appointment in order to secure some medication to stop the male hormone taking over. Bella is 14 months old and is thriving in her new body. Now she's able to be who she was born to be. Trapped in the wrong body at such a young age has had a massive impact on young Bella's mental health. But with the right medication, we are going to get through it as a family. Just secured a grant as well to help Bella in her transition. So all costs have been covered and it's such a relief. She gets to be who she wants to be. This is all she's wanted for years now.
This can't be real.
And we couldn't be any more happier.
I can't.
What the
That
hell?
bitch crazy.
I think they
That's
banned.
real. That bitch crazy.
I thought
When
Trump
I-
already banned these. She can't be in the United States because he already
That
said
motherfucker can't be in the United States
because
because where's
yeah.
CF at to come get that little motherfucking child?
Not only
Okay?
that, the
First of
doctors
all,
aren't allowed to do that anymore.
that the baby has all that red flush color in her face, so that's probably from the medication or whatever, you know.
Oh my gosh.
But this is the type of sickness and mental illness that is taking place here, and this
Oh, Lord.
stupidity needs to stop. It needs to stop, y'all. This is just plain old ridiculous.
Demons. Straight demons. I can't. That's a baby. We gotta
What
protect the
doctor?
babies.
What doctor in the right mind is giving her medicine for this baby? And then she's
Well,
saying
you know,
what the?
well, you know,
These
it was
people
other
need to be
kids
hung.
that their parents had started them on puberty blockers also, including one was a 13-year-old girl that her mom had the doctor to give her those injections in her arms or whatever it is to start her also on those puberty blockers.
They need to be banned in the United States. I mean, I know what Trump said as far as, the doctors, he's not going to allow them to do that anymore. But we need to start seeing some prosecutions because if you're getting the puberty blockers, this is obviously going to be the same doctor that's going to transition your child. And it's like, no, we need to start making examples out of these people. The Trump administration needs to step it up a little bit more and start finding these doctors that are still giving out the pills and start making examples out of them that we are not playing here in the United States. You fuck around with the American children, you're either going to be hung or put in prison for life. And I'm shooting for the death penalty. I don't want my tax. I don't want my tax dollars feeding some clown for the rest of his life 3 meals a day. And no. We need to start making an example out of these people. You want to transition a child? No.
A baby. That's a baby.
Mm-mm.
That's a baby. And
We need a task force on that. I need to write the White House and tell them, let me just start going on these social media accounts and let me put this task force together and look, we're gonna come knocking like Tom Homan for these doctors.
That's it. Yeah, we actually should because they define orders.
Yep.
And they're trying to protect the children because I mean, like what she said, 14 months old. She sounded like she was from Australia or somewhere like that.
yeah,
or whatever.
somewhere like that.
I mean, that's what someone. I mean, but we still have those wackos here, in the United States too. Because I know a friend of mine down in Texas. He's fighting his wife because she wants to transition their boy into a girl. I mean, these are psycho people. These people have mental problems. We need to reopen up these mental hospitals. That's one thing we need to do because we have some mentally ill people in this country and they need to fill them beds up really, really quick. And so, I mean, yeah, and you know, these doctors that's selling this medication, that's doing this to these kids for money, these you guys and these doctors are the worst people, are the most evil people ever to do that to a child. To transition these kids, cut off penises, cut off breasts of these girls when these teenagers don't really know who they are. You know, they're still struggling on finding their identity. And there's many, many times that these people want to detransition after transitioning. You don't come back from that shit. There is no
Nope.
way you can come back from that shit, especially with all the chemicals that's in your body now. You're gonna be fucked up for the rest of your life. And for doctors to do this, these people need to have their license pulled. First of all, and then second, yeah, they need to be tried and definitely. I can go for here in Idaho right now. We have the this passed the death penalty is fire squad. So they just passed the bill. Fire squad is the death penalty. So yeah, put them up in front of a firing squad and get rid of these bastards because they're just sick. These people are.
I guess Gabrielle and Dwayne gonna have to stay out of your town.
And you got governors participating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I'm just
And
like
Gavin Newsom.
Yep.
He's
People
participating.
just they'll think that it's not just them. But you got to remember, Black people, a whole Wayans brother got a child that is transitioned. You know what I'm saying? We seeing Gabrielle and Dwayne tracing about with their little one. Wasn't he about like 13 when he got started? When they started supporting him, he was a young child. So you got to keep your head on a swivel and pay close attention to what your kids' proclivities are because they don't even that's a baby. That baby isn't even defined yet. And what that mom is doing is child abuse. But they got it up where we could see it here and start giving people ideas. You know what I'm saying? So she don't have to be here. She here on social media. And that's going to be an influence. And you notice how they make them loud too. It's ridiculous. But I'm with you with the firing squad and I'm with you with the hangings. Like, that'll work.
I honestly think if we look back in history, this is why we are where we're at now, because you had a lot of clowns pushing that you can reform pedophiles, and you cannot take the craving away from a person who wants to rape a child or an adult. I strongly believe if the Trump administration would push back for hangings, we're not going to have a lot of these problems. Fast forward to 15 years. Why? Because they cleaned it the fuck up and made examples out of people. Why are these people getting 3 meals a day with our tax dollars? There's some people who can't afford 2 meals a day, but they're sitting in a
can't afford one.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, this is crazy. And you got governors like this one here in California saying parents can come from Texas or wherever and he'll have the taxpayers pay for their child's transition. And it's like, motherfucker, we're starving here in California. And you say we got taxpayer dollars to fund these transitions? No, what the fuck? No, this is crazy.
And these politicians, politicians that push this shit need to be held accountable as well.
Well, now what's the Trump administration going to do? I mean, we need to start pushing these motherfuckers out of power. I mean, we're finding all these kids that were lost at the border, and America's got a problem on this side of the border. And it's governors like Gavin Newsom who run the state into fucking hell. So now everybody who pushed for the Trump administration, we're like sitting here kind of waiting, like, okay, you got the Dodge Force here and whatever else, and we found the missing minority kids from the other side of the country. Well, it's a lot of problems going on this side of the country too. America's children need to be put first.
And the foster care. I won't forget
girl,
that.
don't get me into that, because I'm about to have a whole special on these 501(c)(3)s and these clowns letting the American children, be bought for their organs. And then they got the so-called ebony law here in California where they're supposed to be putting, this special missing task force for Black children. They ain't found one of them. Don't even get me started.
They don't give a fuck about no missing Black kids. They never did care.
They just made that law, Ebony's law, to shut the minority people up because we were getting too loud as far as like, where are the kids going from the hood? What do you mean they got legally adopted out? The fuck? Yeah, they just made that law to shut up the minorities because they were getting too loud about what's going on with minority children and human organ harvesting. That's what happened here.
Yep.
Okay, y'all. Well, we're gonna come to the end of the show for real right about now.
Someone is at front door.
Oh, that is at my front door. But anyway, Jerome, tell them where to find you at.
Well, I'm on X at the J Black Mamba is on X. You can find me on Getter, Jerome Bell for Idaho, I think it is now. And I'm on Rumble. I'm on 3 different channels of Rumble. You got Jerome Bell. You got in my new station, my new channel where my show is up is at the Maverick Broadcasting Network. Maverick Broadcasting Network is on Rumble, but I stream live, like I say, on Sundays on X, on Getter, on Rumble, 3 different channels on Rumble. FFN is the other one, and Pickaxe. I'm going to Pickaxe too. My be streaming live over on Pickaxe. Pickaxe is a new pickaxe.com. You can go check it out. Is a new totally free social media that's coming online. My guy Jeff Dornick is the founder of that. So check it out. But you can really follow me on X. I'm pretty loud on X on most shit, so you can just go to the J Black Mamba on X and really pick me up. So I hope you guys tune in on Sunday nights. Come check it out. Check out the show, the Radical Republicans Live Show.
Okay. So I would like to thank everybody for joining us today. And right here live on X and Rumble, both of them. And join us next week, the same place, the same time, 3:00 every Thursday if it's God's will, right here on X for the Hood Conservative Podcast, where we keep it real and tell it exactly just like it is. So thank you very much.
My heart goes out to you.
Excuse me?
My heart goes out to you.
Come on now, you looking like a white supremacist.
Uh-oh. Was that the Hitler? That was the Hitler?
That
My
part.
heart goes out to you. Oh, there
But
it
see,
is.
now we're going to have to start the show again because nobody said shit. Nobody said shit when all the Democrats did it.
Right.
As soon as Elon lifted
Right,
his hand
right,
one
right.
fucking time, put it down. Oh, he's a white supremacist. Everybody's so fucking white. Now,
Right.
Sophia, you're going to be a white supremacist too. Right?
Oh
So
my
in
God.
closing, I want to say thank you everybody that joined today, and we'll see you next week, the same place and at the same time. And thank you all, Jerome, Sophia, Letitia, Travian, and everybody else that joined today. Thank you very much. See you next week.
All right, take care. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Bye, ladies.
Nice to meet you, Jerome.
Nice to meet y'all too. I followed y'all, so follow me back.
Oh,
I'm about to follow you right now on Twitter.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Hi, I'm Laverne Spicer, and I'm asking for your support today. Thousands of Americans struggle to get food, and they wonder where their next meal is going to come from. But I'm here, been working with them for over 25 years to provide food to people that need it the most, right here at our community food bank. So today, I'm asking you for your support. Please provide a contribution to help make a real difference in our community and to help us feed people. And you can do it right here. Donate today on Cash App, and you will see the link above.